Hi there. So I wanted to share something with you that might be useful for you. I was going to record a video note for myself because I was feeling difficulty in breathing. So after eating, and sometimes this happens, especially after meals, but it can happen throughout the day if something causes the stress response to be active in me. And was going to record a video note. Thought it might be useful for you as well if you feel something like that sometimes, that breath is really shallow, and no matter how deep you try to breathe, it just does not pass the diaphragm band. It does not move further down below. So it's like the entire abdominal area is locked, it's tense, and breath does not go there. That's what I was feeling, and it was really tricky. I was trying to get my breathing to go deeper, tried many things, didn't really work, pretty much any of them. So what I felt inspired then to do that really worked, that I wanted to share, was to switch between a convergent focus and a divergent focus. You might have heard about convergent, divergent focuses from Dispenza, or perhaps from the Sedona Method, although they don't use the same words, but that's what I use that word. So in practical terms and really simple terms, what we do is that we bring attention to the area in the body that feels locked. So I was tuning in, and the tension itself, so the barrier there, was right a band at the level of the solar plexus. And when I tuned to the area of the solar plexus, it just felt that it was jammed. So it wasn't because I overate, nothing like that. It was just energetically I'm processing a lot stress, so the adrenals on the back are pumping as well. So the solar plexus was jammed. So I was tuning to the solar plexus itself, and this specific focusing on a part of the body, this is the convergent focus. So we're putting our attention in a specific area of the body. Then we switch to a divergent focus, meaning we open our awareness to sense the space around the solar plexus, for example, the space around this entire band of our body, the space around us in space, like Joe Dispenza likes to say. And we do this with an elevated emotion. Those are Joe Dispenza's words. So we sense the space, and at the same time we hold a feeling of appreciation, of care, of lovingness, of kindness, of joy, whatever is accessible to you at the time. And the reason for this is that we are focusing on the space, and wherever we focus, we are bringing our energy to as well. So if we focus on the space around the area where we feel the tension in our body, and we focus there with an elevated emotion, we are energizing that area with a very coherent type of energy. And when we stop that focus and come back to our normal, more convergent focus, either on the area or we go about our lives doing something else, the area around that part of our body has a coherent field to use the energy for whatever it is that it needs. So obviously in this type of focus, the Joe Dispenza method, it is more effective the longer you are able to stay in that divergent focus, meaning sensing the space from that or with that elevated emotion that you're feeling. The longer you stay in that sensing mode with the elevated emotion, the more that you charge the energy around that area of your body, and the more that you give it that gift, that healing, coherent energy that it can then draw from. And that's one method. You can do this for a minute, 2 minutes, if that's all that you got, but the more that you can hold that divergent, open, sensing focus of the space inside and the space around, with a loving emotion, caring emotion, peaceful, joyful, whatever feels accessible again to you, the longer or the more powerful it is, the field that you create, that then whatever part of your body that you're working with can draw from and use for its own harmonization afterwards. That's one way to use this. The one, and because I didn't really have that much time to stay here. I did this for a little bit, but then I switched to the Sedona Method, which is another way to use the convergent divergent focus, but it's slightly different, and it can be fascinatingly fast as well in terms of bringing relief. And in the Sedona Method, you again start with a convergent focus, so bring your attention to the area of your body where you feel the tension. In my case, I was feeling the jammed, locked energy in the solar plexus, so I brought my attention internally, focused there, sensed the energy stuck there, so my tension was narrow in my solar plexus, and then I opened to the divergent focus, and again with an elevated emotion, always beneficial. But instead of opening to sensing the entire space around me, it was exactly in the same area where I was feeling the tension. I felt the spaciousness that's there anyway, because underlying everything is space. Our body exists in space, and not just space around, but space that permeates. We are in space. We are mostly space, actually. So I don't know the exact number, but apparently from science it goes to the 99.9999% space in between electrons, and then the nucleus of atoms, and then again it's all waves at this point in time. So we are mostly space. So we can, it's a matter of choosing how to direct our perception, so we can focus on the area of our body where we feel the tension or pain. Same thing, same process. Focus in the area. This materializes it, so to speak, in our perception, so it's focused on the material part, even if it is a sensation. And then we focus, open our awareness, and it's not a focus so much, it's a sensing. Then we sense the space and the spaciousness in that exact same spot, and then we do this back and forth. So with Joe Dispenza's method, which is what he uses for the blessing of the energy centers, you focus first on the energy center, in this case would be solar plexus, and then you open your focus to sense the spaciousness with the elevated emotion, and you stay there for longer and longer, and only after you finish charging the area, the spaciousness, with that coherent elevated emotion, then you come back to a convergent focus and move to the next energy center. In the Sedona Method, it's more of a jump, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you focus on the energy center, in this case, speaking my experience, focusing on the solar plexus, convergent focus, opening, letting go of that, and sensing the space in there, in the same place that I was feeling the tension. And it usually is a little bit more around as well. So opening with an elevated emotion, focus again on the sensation of tension, open, focus, sense the space underneath it and around that area, focus again on the tension, on the pain or the location that you're focused, open again to sense the space and the spaciousness which permeates it, in which it is manifest. So underneath it, sense that spaciousness, focus on the thing, material thing. So convergent focus, divergent focus, convergent focus, divergent focus. It goes back and forth like this a few times until you feel relief, to whatever degree you feel complete with this, because it can continue. I did this a few times. Don't want to put a number, as in 4 or 5 should be enough. I don't know, it depends on what you're working with, but for me I think it was about 4 or 5 to actually feel a sense of relief. And this after a good half hour of trying many other things. I have a pretty hefty toolbox and none were working. So these two work. They are really powerful. Joe Dispenza's method is really amazing to help create that coherent field around us that then our entire body can draw from, and especially for punctual things where we are feeling some type of tension, some type of pain. The Sedona method of focusing first, convergent, then opening, sensing the spaciousness in that exact same place it's amazing, that back and forth. So this worked so fast, so amazingly. Reminded me again of the power of these simple tools that I felt inspired to record and share them with you. So let me know if this is useful for you, if you play with it, if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, for joining me here, and I'll see you on the next video.